don't think we've ever had an incident where, you know, things went.
No, definitely no. It's always been very professional. There's no doubt about that. Well, the entry here this weekend is not as high as it has been for a Grand Slam, but it seems that athletes are starting to wind down for the sort of winter months in preparation, I think, for a really sort of strong start in the new year of 2022. So hopefully we'll get it's an opportunity for those youngsters that are trying to knock on the door to get through for qualifications for the next Olympic Games in Paris. So these are the ideal times for them to be put into the mix to see how they perform throughout this last few months before leading up to next year. So, and we have seen some really interesting matches throughout the past couple of months since the Games.
I think you've hit the nail on the head here. Those athletes who are here need to take advantage of the fact that there are so many who are not. Because when are you going to have a better chance of getting a gold medal in a Grand Slam? This is a perfect opportunity. So for those who've rolled the dice, if you like, come all the way out to Abu Dhabi. The field is a lot smaller, as you said, than it normally is. The quality is not as high as it usually is, but I think that the competition is going to be as intense as it ever is, because people are aware of exactly what is at stake here. No better an example than in the opening contest that we're going to cover on map 1 in the under 52 kilo category.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be, as I would say, a humdinger, isn't it? It's going to be, for Jarell, it's going to be a really important match for her. We were talking earlier on.
Absolutely.
And saying that this is young athlete that's, I say young athlete, but she's been on the scene for quite some time now, but young comparing to ourselves, and we feel like the old ones out there looking at all these athletes over the years, how they've flourished. And this is someone that has flourished over the years, but she's a self-funding athlete that really, it's her last chance, isn't it, to really show her pedigree. And she's up against a tough opponent with Kelly Deguchi, and we've just got to see how it all pans out. If she actually wins this match, then obviously she's got a real chance, hasn't she? But she has to get past this match, because otherwise there's no form to go on, is there? It's either one match and out, or she can go through with one win and then be up against the top seed, which is Bouchard. And a good performance, whether she would win or not, a good performance in that match would make a massive difference for how she progresses for next year.
And I think that you get the two bites at the cherry here for Caitlin if she wins this opening contest. As Loretta's just said, she must win the opening contest, because if she comes up against Bouchard and puts up a really strong performance, then her national federation is going to say, we've got something to work with. If she loses that contest, but then goes into the repechage and comes through and takes a bronze medal, then she's done the job as well. So you've got some options here. Only
she gets past the first
only
match.
if you win that first contest. So here we are on the opening day of a rather sedate, slightly less than pumped up Grand Slam, and yet it could be make or break for one of the competitors with regard to what happens next year. As Loretta was saying, they want to get points, they want to be able to get seeded in those early competitions in next year. Well, this is the biggest points going, a Grand Slam. You take points here.
Oh, definitely. Well, when you look at it, 15 athletes in this weight category, and that's not taking away any performance that we're going to gain here this weekend, because we have actually got a lineup that is superb when you look at it. Olympic silver medalist and an Olympic bronze medalist with Chelsea Giles. So those two top seeds, you've got to beat them to have any sort of performance. But there is amongst there some real world-class athletes. So although the numbers are small, there is the cream here, and that's it.
For me, that's probably a better point than the points that we've been trying to make over the 5 minutes, because we began by saying it's not really the highest quality, it's not a big field A. You've got 2 Olympic medalists in the mix here. That's before you get to work out some of the others. We've got a new Japanese down in Pool D, and when we come back to Caitlin Jarell, we spoke about the 2 Olympic medalists. We haven't mentioned that Caitlin Jarell herself was the Youth Olympic Games champion.
Yes.
So if you just look at those 3, throw in the mix the new Japanese, and then you've got Gafen Primo, the older sister of Karem. It used to be so fun. Well, it was funny. We were talking previously about Karem being the younger sister of Gafen. Now we're talking about Gafen being the older sister of Karem.
It's definitely, you've just seen the siblings in quite a lot of these tournaments now start, because they've been around for so long, and athletes sustain themselves there at their level for such a long time, don't they? They're in their 30s, but siblings are coming through as well, fighting on the same level for them. So it's really nice to see.
Now, we had this really lovely presentation prepared at the beginning, but then we had a break in the transmission and the broadcast, so we're not quite sure exactly how it's going to go. The athletes are making their way to the tatami now. We're going to go to mat number 1. Okay, apparently everything is underway. Caitlin Jarrell in the white judogi, Kelly Deguchi in blue. It's the American in white and the Canadian in blue. What a way to start off then.
Well, it keeps us on our toes, doesn't it? But like you say, this is, as we've just spoke about, this is a crucial match here for Jarrell.
Jarrell's got to be careful going against that arm. I think she was given hand sokumake for it in a previous contest. And it's when she goes against, because she throws left-sided, so she's going against the right arm of Deguchi, and sometimes she loses contact with the far side but maintains contact with the right arm closest to her, and then she goes against that elbow.
Well, that was a nice little switch there. I'm sure that was the Ouchigari. Didn't actually see the foot going in, but the direction that she moved, for me, it looked like the Ouchigari with a bit of a spin on it. Oh, yes. Nice.
Well caught there, Loretta. Spotted that one. See, you know, there's the
Yes,
she's got to be so careful against that arm.
Well, Deguchi there with the right arm inside. She's got a very strong, controlling, as well as developing technique and grip there that she can come through with the Seoinage or use the Ashiwazas as well, which she looks like she's trying to set up, but obviously not getting in quick enough. And there again is a lovely Ouchigari. She's been caught, Deguchi's been caught already once on that. You'd think she'd learn the first time. And now we're looking into the Niwaza, whether she's secured that.
Lucky to escape from getting caught a second time.
Once more, switch the Taitoshi into the Ouchigari.
Just gets the arm out. That was what saved her.
It's a nice combination, and that's twice she's now done that. Deguchi felt that she defended well enough, but not with the double attack with the Ouchi. Definitely left herself exposed there. Now looks to be defending against, again, that grip that comes right around the back. But it's obviously quite frustrating for Deguchi right now. Hip throw, well, the arm was right through. Hips didn't get in deep enough. But Jarrell is doing well here.
The kits always seem a little bit too big for her.
Yeah, definitely. Ouchigari once more and switched it back. So there was the treble, the Taitoshi attempt, the Ouchigari look, and then she stretched through again for the forward attack.
And it's not one of our kits, it's her own. But it just looks a little bit too big for her. The size down is probably too tight and too close to the edge, so she has to go up one, and it's just that little bit too big, I think.
If she was a junior, you would actually say she'll grow into it, but no, it's not the case. So Jarrell still in the lead with that one Wazari, with a minute and 18 seconds go, but now you've got Deguchi with 2 Shidos. So really, she's got to step it up a bit now. She's already had that warning. She cannot afford to take another Shido.
There's plenty of time left in the contest, over a minute. Two Shidos on the board, as Loretta said. That's going to play on her mind as well. She can't afford the third.
It changes the dynamics of this contest. Now Deguchi has to chase. And when you chase, you leave yourself a little bit vulnerable and exposed. So the way that Jarrell has been working here, she's changed her tactics. Really, she was the first person out there with that combination. And again, we're seeing it once more. But this time, Deguchi has really sussed that one out and is able to block it a little bit differently than what she has in the first opening couple of minutes of this contest. but is it too late? So we're into the last half a minute now, and Deguchi, although she's put the pressure on, steps across, and really strong attack there, which stumbles Giles to the ground, but doesn't get that score. Now the margin between them isn't that big, but it's big when it's only seconds to go. Giles tactically does the right thing and goes into the Niwaza, putting pressure on that arm. As you can see, she's looking up at the scoreboard. She has no intentions of doing any more than looking busy. And rightly so. Well, Giles needed that win. That's a good start for her, and a positive way forward into the next round, but she will have a tough second round match to come up with.
Number 1 seed, Amandine Bouchard, is her opponent in round 2. Didn't get to see the best of Kelly Deguchi, I feel there.
No, I think it was she didn't get started at all. She was very slow off the mark and didn't manage to rescue herself after those two beautiful combinations that we saw from the stepping across the Taitoshi and the Ouchigari, which was a lovely spin, a nice rotation, and scored a Wazari in the second time.
Right, coming up next, Keldyyorova of Uzbekistan goes up against Alexandra Kaleta of Poland. It'll be Keldyyorova in the white judogi, Kaleta in blue. And with regard to Deguchi, normally you would, after 4 minutes, you'd be able to say she couldn't get her Senagi, she couldn't get her Ashiwaza going, she couldn't get her Newaza, on track, or her big Uchimata wasn't coming off. We didn't see which of those techniques, we didn't call anything for her.
No, nothing.
So I can't say what didn't work for her, because I didn't see what it was that she wanted to work on.
No.
She left at the time, she left 4 minutes without giving us a sign of what it is that she was trying to do.
Any of her strengths at all, there was nothing there.
So unfortunately,
she'll be very
disappointed.
disappointed. She'll be disappointed with that, because it's the lasting memories of someone that you see compete, and for a coach as well. It's, well, how do you base that performance if you see very little from it, other than just didn't get started?
Right, I shall leave Loretta with you for a while whilst I go and chat with Miss Deguchi. Then we'll hear from her herself. I think that's the best way to do that. Here's Loretta.
Thank you very much, Sheldon. Right, well, we'll continue with this contest. Here's the under 52 kilos. Uzbekistan in the white, and we have Poland in blue. Well, Kaleta's staying firmly in the front there. She steps across the Kochigari, another Ashiwaza. We saw the Ouchigari in the previous match. For me, there's a lot of success that gains from having good Ashiwazas. The Kochigaris, the Kuriashibaras. These are real opening techniques, but also they can have some really superb finishes. And this comfortably puts Kaleta in the lead, and we're coming up to the halfway mark. Still plenty of time though for the Uzbekistan to come through. And there we have it. Kaleta started off strong and she finished strong in this first round, and she'll go through into the second round, and we'll just have to watch the next match coming up to see who she'll be up against in that second round match.
Next first round contest for women under 52 kilogram category, the number 1. In white, judogi representing Mongolia, Michelle Kordodoi. In blue judogi representing Portugal, João Diogo.
So we've got from Mongolia in the white, Bischelt, and representing Portugal in the blue, Diogo. So Diogo coming in for a Sianagi there, drops down to the ground to defend, and how safe in the ground I'm not sure. As you can see, the Mongolian working extremely hard, trying to get that leg out. Works past the knee. Now all she needs to do is lever herself a little bit further out, that she can bend that knee and turning out to the side. But most importantly, she has to control the upper part of the body to avoid her opponent escaping. Now obviously that takes a lot of effort, and it does take time, and the referee obviously at this stage didn't feel that much action was taken in that Niwaza exchange. But it was a great opportunity though for the Mongolian. Mongolian now comes in very deep. She likes to be up close, really closing up the space between herself and her opponent. Prefers that arm right under the armpit there, coming round the back. Both now trying to desperately get the ultimate grip for securing the next move. Sasai attempt. Lapel and sleeve grip there from the Portuguese. The Mongolian with a high collar grip there, drawing down on the head of the Portuguese, controlling quite nicely there, and it looks to be trying to desperately set up an attack, but Portuguese comes in that little bit quicker, breaking up any preparation that the Mongolian was trying. Now working into the Niwaza.
The Dhabi 2 next contest, first round for men under 60 kg category. In white, judogi representing Chinese Taipei, Yang Yu-Wei. In blue, judogi representing United Arab Emirates, Ahmed Al-Nakbi.
Bischelt getting nice and tight, gets that lift, and we saw that in the opening seconds of the contest, and obviously the Portuguese didn't like that setup. She didn't like the sort of losing the space that she had between her and her opponent. But as you can see, Bischelt using that knee as a lever to get her opponent off the ground with that nice little twist at the end that plants her opponent firmly onto her back. Keeps persevering, although that arm goes down, it was not enough to stop the flow of that technique. What a lovely finish there, and Bischelt goes through to the next round, and she'll be up against Kata in that next round match.
The Dhabi 1 next contest, first round for women under 52 kg. In white, judogi for Great Britain.
Now it's nice to see Chelsea Giles here in the white, representing Great Britain. A debut of Olympic bronze medalist here, the #2 seed in this competition, and she's up against a very strong opponent from Mongolia, and as we've just seen, a great performance from Bischelt, so they've got some real depth in this weight category, and that's Gambold in the blue. Gambold comes in for Sianagi, a little bit mismatched there. She just left herself a bit short as she entered and dropped into the ground. Now this is where Chelsea is dangerous. She loves the Niwaza, very, very strong there indeed, and really punishes her opponent down in the Niwaza. As you can see, those legs working extremely hard. Hasn't really able to connect as yet, but that was a massive big warning there for the Mongolian to stay off the ground.
The Dhabi 2 next contest, first round for men under 60 kg. In white, judogi for Ukraine, Dilshot Khalmatov. In blue, judogi for Uzbekistan,
As you can see in our picture, Chelsea sort of towers over her opponent. Those long limbs, those arms and legs can really overstretch and become very, very dangerous for her opponents, and doesn't need to get in too close without connecting. Those long arms over the back controls her opponents really well. Gamble trying to come under her opponent once again with the Sianagi. Defended nicely by Giles, who now once again punishes her opponent there in the ground, looking for an opportunity to draw out that arm for the Sangaku turn. And here we have it. She levers her over. Those legs are now a little bit firmly securing around the arm and the head, and ties it up very nicely, has control on the arm. Needs a little bit more turn on that. Securing nicely. And there you have it. A comfortable win there for Chelsea Giles, who goes through to the next round of this Abu Dhabi Grand Slam.
Number 2, next contest, first round, men under 60 kilogram category.
Well, we're going to stick with mat number 1 at this moment, because there's actually some very strong opponents coming up here. And one, as we've just seen, from Russia, Kuznetsova in the white, and Eastern from Australia in the blue.
Judogi representing Russia, Alessia Kuznetsova. In blue judogi for Australia, Tinka Eastern.
And then after this one, we'll move down into mat number 3, because we'll have a very strong contest coming up there very shortly. But here we are, mat number 1, the under 52 kilo category. Kuznetsova of Russia in the white, and Eastern from Australia in the blue. Beautiful uchimata there. Nicely done from Eastern. As we can see, that entry from that lapel grip, securing the sleeve, comes across the uchimata, and just that little spin off. So sadly didn't get a score from it, but definitely a dramatic entry from the Australian. As you can see, landed on the head and just spun out, so never actually had her shoulders hit the ground at all. So good aerial awareness from the Russian.
There's another fighter who is in the same kind of mould as Caitlin Jarrell, Alessia Kuznetsova, who's been around for a long time, never quite hit the heights that the Russians had hoped that she would. Up at 52, had previously been at 48,
yes,
where she was a real force. She was only in Newaza.
Yes,
however,
Newaza very strong.
Absolutely superb.
She struggled as well, though, with the weight, didn't she? That was a real sort of tester for her 48 kilos.
And she's gone up to 52, which leaves 48 free for her teammate, clubmate, who's got a very similar style, also very, very adept in Newaza. She's here, by the way, Irina Dolgova, and they're both renowned for the Newaza, but Dolgova's probably got better throwing techniques to complement her all-round game, whereas Kuznetsova, I think any of the commentators would say the same thing. She just struggles a bit in Tachiwaza to have the same kind of balance.
Well, the danger here is Eastern with that uchimata. That's the second time we've seen her entry into that. She's had her opponent over, but brilliant aerial awareness from the Russian. Just manages to get off the technique. How she managed that, I never know, but good feel with it on on the judo mats here, but now, as you can see, once more, you mentioned it, her niwaza is her forte, and down here Easton looks into a little bit trouble. She's hanging on for dear life here.
Just hasn't been able to get the left leg where she wants it, because Kuznetsova are working now to get it on this side
There
of
you
the head,
have
and
it.
she's got it.
Yep.
Seen the tap.
So that was a lifeline thrown there from Easton going into the niwaza, because Easton was very, very good in the tachiwaza and dominated in the tachiwaza in that match.
Well, it's no secret, you know, on the international circuit where Kuznetsova's strength lies. So Easton would have wanted to avoid, you know, getting involved in niwaza, but unfortunately got tied up in it eventually, and you saw Kuznetsova work at it again and again,
yes,
until she was able to bring it off. It wasn't textbook.
Maybe we look at the mat number 3.
Okay.
Right, we've been working away there at the 52 kilos, and as we said right at the beginning, 52s is a very, very strong weight category, although 15 athletes participate in some real depth there, but we're now into the 6th.
I fancied looking at Kafem Primo and the new Japanese,
right.
Nakauchi Yuri. No, it doesn't matter. I mean, we're down and have a look at Ramazan Abdullayev and Bayamsuren Shrukbat of Mongolia, Abdullayev in the white judogi and Bayamsuren in blue. And if you wanted to continue looking at mat 1, by all means just click on mat 1. It's just that you won't have Loretta Kusat-Doyle and myself. We're going to be down on mat number 3. Abdullayev in the white judogi, Bayamsuren in blue. We joined the contest with plenty of time left on there. We've only had the first minute or so, and there's no score, but it's Bayamsuren who's about to pick up a Shido for passivity. There you go.
Thank you for that intro. We say it is a little bit of a slow start in this match. We're coming up to the halfway mark, and Bulayev comes in with the right hand on the lapel inside, strong controlling sleeve grip, and but finds himself there just on the receiving end of the Uchimata attempt from the Mongolian, but Tominagi continuing to pile the pressure on the edge of that contest mat. Definitely both athletes sizing each other up in this contest. Neither one of them wants to make the first move as such. It is all about the kumikata, trying to get firstly the control before the entry. Yeah, she was a little bit off there, but the Kosota attempt, a bit of a switch reaction from the Mongolian, from forward to the rear.
Dhabi 2, golden score.
Abdullayev looking very tentatively there, trying to come through off the lapel. He's got the sleeve, but the Mongolian there breaking up the balance, trying to draw the head down, both in a very right angle position. But the Mongolian coming in for the Uchimata attempt, but we're now trying to rough him up a little bit in the niwaza. So very, very slow here with this match. Well, a little bit disappointing in this opening round here. I thought we would see a little bit more fireworks, but tends to be a little bit flat.
I'm keeping an eye on what's happening down on mat number 1. Absolutely bruising battle between Primo and Nakauchi. No score in that one as yet, and you can see that at the top of your screen. You can follow the scores and how long is left in the contest. And some people are really clever and can open up more than one screen and watch
yes,
a couple. You know,
or
I've
have
never done that.
multi-screening and things like this.
You?
Yes,
Do you?
I
I've
love
never
that.
done that.
I normally have the TV and my laptop running at the same time if I'm not here in person.
I have never done that. I've just stuck with whomsoever it is that's bringing the commentary, and I just go with that. But there are some clever, bods out there.
And that's the difficulty. There's so many good matches that can come up. We've got 3 mats here. We can't cover all, and there's a very
What's
strong
the most
match.
that we've had? 5, I think, in Paris
5,
at one
yes.
time. Yeah. That's
I find that quite
nightmare.
and I find that frustrating because we miss out on some
So many.
amazing matches.
And then it's all in 2 days as well.
That's right.
In Paris, isn't it? I find the 2-day ones very, very tricky. But is it only Paris that we've got in 2 days? I think Paris is the only one.
Yeah, Paris is the only one.
Yeah. I think the cost is prohibitive. You just couldn't afford to have Bercy for another day.
Well, we're into golden score. Not really much change from what we saw at the opening minutes of this contest, and really now someone has to be a little bit more gutsy and brave out there and show what they're capable of doing, having a little bit more belief in their ability. And both of them played a very safe game so far, and there's been very little engagement between both of them. Ouchi Kojigari combination there from the Russian, who seems to sort of lit up a little bit, but not enough in my thoughts, really.
Meanwhile, down on mat number 1, Gufen Primo has scored Wazari against Nakauchi Yuri of Japan, and that one is going to run out as a win for Primo with only 1 second left on the clock. It'll be Primo into the next round, and Nakauchi, well, I like to see the new Japanese, but I don't think this is like a full team or anything, even they're number 3 or 4. But
well, Abdullayev there has Sutemi Waza attempt there, just in golden score, manages to control it nicely, just about scraped that Wazari, and no more. So let's have a look at these mats, and
we've got the first of the athletes from the UAE. Maybe we should do him justice and give him a shout there on mat number 3. Oleg Verediba of Ukraine is up against Ahmed Jassim Al-Tomari of the UAE. Let's have a look at a homeboy for once. It's Verediba in white and Al-Tomari in blue, and then we'll take a look and see what else is coming up. It's the last of the under 52 kilo category contest on mat 1 as well. Sumia Irahwi of Morocco goes up against Chloe de Victor. She's still a junior, I think. I like the look of her. Medalled at the Junior World Championships, didn't she? I'm not sure if she didn't win the thing. Chloe de Victor, Junior World Champion. Is it juniors or Europeans? Maybe mixing them up, one of those. Check and see.
well, a real mix-up here in this contest, working away in the Niwaza, just off the contest area, but it started in the contest position, rolled out, and it will continue play until mate. Alfamari trying to get past the strong defensive left-hand grip. You can see his opponent from Ukraine. He's got that right hand deep over onto the back. An attempt there from Alfamari, the Sienagi. But the attempt was off the edge of the contest area, which means that he'll pick up a Shido for the effort. cross grip attempt there. As you can see, the right hand round the back for the Ukraine. Alfamay came in, made that ultimate mistake under pressure to attack forward, and there was the counter waiting for the Ukraine, who picks up a Wazari. And now into the Osakomi.
Nice classic Yoko Shiogatami to finish things off. And yeah, Chloe De Victor down on mat number 1. She was the gold medal winner at the Junior World Championships. There's always a good reason why someone's name sticks in your mind, and I guess when they win the Junior World Championships, you shouldn't be forgetting them in a hurry. Oddly enough, she lost in the final of the Junior Europeans, but she went on to win the Junior World, so there was some compensation for her. Right, who have we got coming up next then? Where do you want to go? We haven't seen the under 60 kilo. Yes, we have. We just saw a contest there, so you've got a choice. We can stay here on mat 3, because we've got a good lineup coming up. Faiza Mokhtar and Karen Primo, Yulia Kowalczyk and Atselia are top rack, and then Vera Zimanova. That should be a good one. Yeah, we're going to stick here for a while. Shaboz Saida-Burorov of Tajikistan goes up against Cedric Revol of France. It's Saida Burorov in the white judogi, Revol in blue, and a very good afternoon to everyone. Well, afternoon from Abu Dhabi, could be morning depending on where you are watching from, but hello anyway. Nice to be back with you after a break that I took from Abu Dhabi, an enforced break, I'm afraid to say, but anyway, not enforced by the IJF, by the way. Not suggesting that. I had to take a couple of weeks off. No score as yet. Saw Revol in the warm-up area, busy looking fighter, trying to get himself prepared for this contest. There's quite a few athletes for France at 60 kilos now. Got a few athletes that they're preparing for this weight.
Ladies and gentlemen, now Volta coming to, we will start first round contests for women under 57 kilo. In white, judogi representing Mongolia.
Round 1 in the under 57 kilo category is beginning on mat number 2 now, for those of you who are interested in that. We'll stick here with the under 60 kilo category for a while. We're going to get the under 57 kilo category, another pool of it over on this side on mat 3 shortly, so we'll stay here. Half the contest gone. Difficult to see where this one is going. There's a struggle for supremacy with the grips at the moment, and then after that there's not a great deal going on. Mind you, neither fighter has been penalised, so they're pretty active. Just can't find a way through the defence, and there you go, nice Ojigari falling away as he completed that, but that was what put the Tajik on his back. And that was a good score. Minute 24 left on the clock. Lunged with that left Kojigari. You just see the left foot there. Well, there was that little Seoinage top, wasn't there? Maybe gave Sadaburov the feeling that he should block against the forward technique, maybe just leaning back and then making it easier for Revel to bring off that little Kojigari. Anyway, a little over a minute left to go. Revel leads by Wazari. Time running out here. Yeah, well, he sensed that the clock was against him. Tried something, and unfortunately it didn't work out. Revel took advantage of that situation. And the Frenchman who came up with the win.
Representing Belgium, Ellen Salens.
Okay, Revel it is, who goes in to the next round.
Lucky he
didn't get called for diving there, because he goes straight onto his head. Maybe, I was going to see what the referee gave, whether it was Wazari Awazeti Ippon or whether it was straight Ippon, and I think it was Wazari Awazeti Ippon. In any case, it was fairly lucky not to get given the Ippon against him. Anyway, Faiza Mokhtar of France is up against Karem Primo of Israel. It's Mokhtar in the white judogi, Primo in blue. We've spoken a great deal about Karem Primo over the last few months. We've seen a good deal of her. Now we're going to get another lot, this time in a Grand Slam. Unseeded here. Against Francis Faiza Mokhtar, who herself is only 20. I was going to say that Primo is pretty young, but so too is Faiza Mokhtar at 20. Most of what we'll talk about with these two then will be with regard to their performances in the juniors, or in the case of Karem Primo, even with the cadets. Still very young.
Golden score on Tatami 2.
Quite working out this time round for Primo, coming up against Mokhtar. French fighter taking that one.
Tatami 3, next contest, first round, women under 57 kilogram category.
So it'll be Faiza Mokhtar to face the number 2 seed, Thelma Monteiro of Portugal, in the next round, which is effectively the quarter-final. On mat 3 now, Julia Kowalczyk of Poland goes up against Aselia Toprak of Great Britain. It's Kowalczyk in the white judogi, Toprak in blue. Keep an eye out for other contests going on up and down, well, on map number 1 and 2. We're sticking on map number 3 for the time being. Strong right-sided Seoinage effort from Kowalczyk, but it's blocked by Toprak. Just searching for a grip here. Actually, both fighters. Toprak looks a little bit more committed to finding a grip. Kowalczyk maybe just waiting for an opportunity for an outstretched hand.
The Dhabi 2, next contest, first round for women under 57 kilogram. In white judogi for Belgium, Mina Libe. In blue judogi for Russia, Irina Zueva. The Dhabi 1, next contest, first round for women under 48 kilogram category. In white for Russia, Irina Dolgova. In blue for Germany, Natalie Coley.
To just about get away from a false attack there. It wasn't the strongest. Didn't like the grip, felt some pressure, and just threw that one in. Toprak had to block it, so that's why she got away with that one. That was on the limit for me. Strong grips from Toprak. Got to use it though. Needs to come up with an attack. It's not the strongest position for the British fighter. That left arm of Kowalczyk just pushing out and keeping Toprak at bay. Just needs to get past that and get an attack in. Yep. Wasn't the best, but it was good enough. Yeah, that was on the cards for a while actually. Kowalczyk picks up the penalty. Better grip here. Again, needs to get an attack in. Really keep the pressure up. Kowalczyk battling away for a grip. Toprak coming up with at least the attempts at getting an attack in. Just needs to finish off here. Good cycle at the moment for Toprak. Can't afford for Kowalczyk to come up with an attack. One more effort here from Toprak. There you go. Timing was good from Kowalczyk. Just managing to put that Seoinage effort in. Again, it wasn't the strongest, but it was just in at the right time, and it was just enough to count for an attack. Had Toprak been able to get a similar attack in, I think there would have been a second penalty on the cards for Kowalczyk. Not going to happen, and Toprak needs to have some attention to maybe something on the fingers, I think, could be. Not sure. The referee saw something that he wanted tidied up. Toprak has just had to come to the edge of the map where we've got one of our two medical tables. And once they've had their medical attention, they can come straight back on. We used to have the doctors coming on to the tatami, but then we would be, the position then was that we would be be broadcasting whatever it was they were being treated for. So he decided that wasn't the most attractive of situations, so they come off the mat. Now cameras don't follow them, so sometimes we don't know what it is that they're being treated for because it's out of shot. Anyhow, single Shido against Kowalczyk. Toprak pressing hard. Ojigari. Really good effort here from Toprak. Can she finish off by keeping up that pressure? Kowalczyk misses with the Seoinage again. Been ineffective up to now with those attacks, but doing just enough for them to count and to keep her in the contest. Could easily have been penalised. Again, that left arm sticking into the ribs of Toprak there as time expires, normal time expires. Another low Seoinage effort from Kowalczyk brings the contest to an end. Regulation time, 4 minutes is gone. We're going to have a period of golden score. In fact, all the contests on all three mats are quite lengthy affairs at the moment. This one going into golden score, 20 seconds left on mat number 2 and 15 seconds left down on mat number 1. So athletes waiting. Nice, Ashi was a really good attempt. Good finish for me. Never stopped. Drove all the way. That is a super finish from Toprak. Really good. Kowalczyk, one of the strongest fighters in the weight category, and could really have been expected to take this, but Toprak never stopped driving, pushing, and eventually overcame Julia Kowalczyk. Good win for the British fighter there. Both the Polish fighters in that weight category have gone out. Aleta Podolak going out in round 1, as did Julia Kowalczyk there. Here on mat number 3, Vera Zemanova of the Czech Republic goes up against Batsuk Altansetsek of Mongolia. Zemanova in the white judogi, Batsuk in blue, and we'll follow this with the under 66 kilo category, Denis Vieru and Ali Al-Yamahi of the United Arab Emirates. That's coming up after Zemanova and Batsuk. Seen some good contests here this morning already. Loretta and I were talking about the fact that understandably at this time of the year you're going to get a few people deciding, you know, not to come, so the numbers will be slightly reduced from a normal Grand Slam, and then maybe the quality at times will be reduced as you get fewer of the higher quality athletes turning up. However, the bite, if you like, the intensity has certainly been there. We saw that in the opening contest. We've seen that in the last contest here between Toprak and Kowalczyk. That was a terrific little battle, that one, and hopefully we're going to see it in the upcoming weight category, which is the under 66 kilo category. Denis Vieru and Ali Al-Yamahi. Loretta has returned,
yes,
having slightly misjudged the temperature in the venue, which is heavily air conditioned from outside, which is absolutely steaming hot, and she's put a lovely white little jacket on. She looks lovely.
Thank you for that.
I
think I need my thermals, not alone a white jacket. It's
having
just so
been
cold
here on several occasions, have turned up with t-shirt, shirt and a jacket, and I'm not taking it off. So, it may be hot outside, but I tell you what, they do love an air-conditioned venue, don't they?
Oh, definitely. There's no doubt about it. So thermals on tomorrow, that's all I'm saying. It's just like acclimatising for being back home, really. They're just making us feel welcome.
Well, you know, the athletes never complain about the temperature here, because once they've done their warm-up, of course, you know, they are dragging air from every orifice, but the competition venue for them, this temperature is great. It's very, very comfortable. But if you're just sitting there, it can be a little bit chilly.
Nippy.
It's like when you go to competitive swimming. The temperature for the swimmers, competitive swimmers, is always a few degrees lower than if you go to the public baths, your local swimming pool. That is always a bit warmer. Just in case you're interested, I mean, because Zamanova and Batsuk, Batsuk have not exactly blown us away here with too much excitement, I'm sorry to say.
There's a little bit of work going on here in the Niwaza, but sadly it's just taken her so long to try and figure it out that she's lost opportunities there that she could have possibly gained.
We did have a word with, who was it that went to see the Canadian? It was the coach that I got. I thought, I'm going to leave Kelly Deguchi for a while, let her, get herself back together after that defeat. You don't want, to be spoke to immediately after, unless it's part of the protocol and you expect the press interview. You want, to give yourself a better time. So I thought I'd leave Kelly Deguchi to gather her thoughts, but I did get to see and chat with her coach, Antoine Valois-Fortier, who's now doing coaching duties for Canada, and he was on exactly the same page that we were in saying that he would have liked to have seen a little bit more from her. She didn't show her best, but she's still making her way. May take her another year or so to get up to the kind of competitive edge and sharpness that he feels that she could have. But yeah, it was not the best of performances. I think that's probably the best way of putting it.
And like we say, she's got time, and I think it's it's the expectations. We all expect more, don't we? And for some athletes, it just takes that little bit more time, and that's all.
I'm still going to have a chat with her, though.
Pile on the pressure even more, why don't you?
Well, I'd like to be a little bit more positive, having spoken to the coach now, just to give her more encouragement,
Well, eventually she got what she wanted, and that was the Niwaza. She had hunted it for so long, and there was a couple of opportunities that she had to capitalise, and that one was the best. Straight in from a Sutemi Waza attempt there, leaving herself very exposed in the Niwaza, and was capitalised on there for the Ippon. Well, this will be an interesting match coming up now with the under 66. Veru is one of my favourites, I must admit. We always get, it's always a delight to watch him perform. Great athlete.
Yeah, he's got real class, hasn't he?
It's just something about him, he oozes class, doesn't he? He's got a little bit of sophistication on the tatami, as they would say.
So Dennis Fierro in the white judogi up against Ali Al-Yamahi of the United Arab Emirates. We did see one of their fighters earlier on, and it's a developing nation at this kind of level, so I wouldn't expect massive.
Yeah, they're working hard.
Yeah.
There's a lot of push in developing their athletes. But as we know, they're up against athletes that's been on the scene for a good 10, 15 years in some cases.
Yeah.
If we're even talking about the junior development stage. So some of these athletes are coming straight into a senior environment and not even had that junior or cadet background.
Going to leave Loretta again with the exciting Dennis Vieri, albeit at a distance. Yes, Loretta.
Thank you very much, Sheldon. Yeah, it's a delight to just have myself and Dennis here. Just us all alone. Well, it's a little bit of pitter-patter going on here. It's sort of prepping themselves on this tatami, and there we have a nice Sienagi entry there. He doesn't look too sort of fired up at this particular moment, as you would say. It's the second round of the contest. He had a bye in the first round, so this really, respectively, this is his first match, which is a warm-up. But they're beautiful Koji-gari, and there again, what we were saying earlier on, it's a little bit of sophistication and elegance on a tatami, if you could say that. And there is a lovely swift move there, Koji-gari, perfectly placed, and the arms all working and flowing directly at the same time, which gives them that perfect ippon. So he'll be delighted with that. The first match under his belt, raring to go, and he'll be fired up a little bit more in the next round, I'm quite sure. But in the meantime, it just shows that this young man, Dennis Vieri, is on form, and as the number 2 seed, will be putting his sights on that final of this Grand Slam. Now we have Moldova here in the white. And let's have a look.
Tatami 1, next contest, first round for women under 48 kilo. In white judo gi
Well, we'll go across to tatami 2, where we have the number 1 seed that's just come up there. Vondomperli of Mongolia there in the white gi. He's the number 1 seed coming into this competition. Olympic, placed 7th in the Olympic Games, but world bronze medalist, and strong competitor, and obviously will be looking after that Games and just missing out on a medal. He'll be wanting to set his sights on winning a gold here, and he's got a great opportunity being the number 1 seed coming into this contest, and 21 athletes participating in the under 66 kilos. So it's if you're going to have any opportunity, this is a great time to show what you're capable of doing and giving yourself that world ranking positioning that has put him in as the top seed. He's up against Salamat in the blue. Salamat, the high collar grip, trying to draw down on the head of Vondomperli. He also works now in the Niwaza, trying to put a little bit more extra pressure on his opponent. How much pressure, I don't know, but there's a little bit of a limp there. I'm not quite sure what happened, but Salamat working to capture that lapel. He's got that now. Draws in on his opponent, but the Mongolian draws down on that shoulder. Oh, and steps across. And what a powerful entry for that Osota. A little bit of a spin off it to the side, but there was no way that Salamat could get off that. The high collar grip, bearing down on that sleeve. Osodogari, he tried to get off and had a nice little spin that could have been a bit of a harai. Takes it directly back at first, steps, and again gives it a bit of a spin to make sure he completes the perfect throw.
Ladies and gentlemen, on to Dhabi 1, it's time for the first
Deep in as far as he could go.
final for the women under 15.
It was so difficult. Salamat just didn't have a chance on that one.
Judo game representing France, Tokyo Olympic Games silver medalist Amandine Bouchard.
Well, we'll go up to mat number 1, where we have the number 1 seed gracing our tatami here today. And that's the Olympic silver medalist, Bouchard of France. Bouchard had She had a bye in the first round, and she's up now against Giles from the USA. And we saw Giles in the first opening match against Deguchi, and she had a great performance there. Nice, good, a lovely couple of combination techniques. Taitoshi with that spin of an ouchigari, which was very effective. But how effective will it be against a world-class beater of Bouchard in the white?
That number 3, next second round contest for men.
10 minutes are there. It comes underneath.
In white judogi for Russia, Aram Grigoryan.
Variation of the katakuruma. Gets her head caught right in there, nice and deep. Strong upper body control against Giles. Giles really has now some work to do, but she's definitely a fighter, there's no doubt about it. She's got a little bit of grit in her that makes her dangerous. And Bouchard picks up a Shido. Well, that's the little sort of area that Giles is good at. She attacks forward and then spins it back for that ouchigari. And for Giles, it's a situation she's got everything to gain in winning this match and nothing to lose. All she's got to really do is really give a good performance here. And a nice change there of direction, but which sadly was... She came in for, as you could see, she did look for that ouchigari, but it wasn't deep enough, and the upper body control of Bouchard was enough to give her that second wazari for a wazari aseti upon, and Bouchard goes through. But for Giles, she goes through into the repechage. Now we have Kata in the white from Poland, and she's up against Bishret of Mongolia. Now both of these athletes have had extremely good first round matches, looking very, very strong. And like what we've said earlier on, this is most probably one of the most contested weight categories that we have here today. There is a real lineup of world-class athletes, although only 15 competing in the under 52 kilos, but we have Olympic medals, we have world medals, and we have Grand Slam champions all in the mix here. So it's going to be very challenging indeed, and not one that you would predict as the final outcome of a gold medalist. And as you see in the lineup, just coming up after this, we'll have Chelsea Giles, who's also an Olympic bronze medalist, that will be coming up against the Russian. So, yeah, we have some exciting matches ahead of us. And here, again, another tough match. Kata, cross grip, arm right deep onto the back. Bishret, a little bit uncomfortable with the gripping style of Kata. She takes that sleeve cross grip and then she comes deep over the back, now high on the collar, but that's the lift, and we saw that before in the previous match for Brichelt. She was just waiting again. She does that big, massive throw with using the knee to sort of accelerate the height, and the finish right deep onto the belt, beautifully executed, and what a finish. Very, very dangerous to allow this young lady to come round the back. And it all starts from the arm right round deep on the belt. So it will be Bouchard and Brichelt that will be in the semi-final.
Women under 15 till Kata in white judogi for Great Britain. Tokyo Olympic.
But now for the next, in the quarter-final stage, we have Chelsea Giles of Great Britain and Kuznetsova Alicia from Russia in the blue. Well, Giles has had an amazing year. Has gone from strength to strength every time we see this athlete on the world circuit. She just seems to get better. Niwaza, phenomenal. Amazing work in the ground and can be almost unstoppable if she gets that opportunity. A very dangerous athlete to be messing around in the Niwaza. Kuznetsova. Kuznetsova, they're really struggling against those long arms that seem to be sort of tying her up a bit, but she comes in with that lapel in the inside this time. But as you can see, Chelsea Giles comes there with the right hand, high collar, uses her feet to break down her opponent's balance, taking her down into where she really does feel comfortable, is in the Niwaza.
Golden score, Dhabi 3.
Well, no score on the board at this particular moment. 2.5 minutes remaining. But Chelsea Giles seems to have a handle on this match, seems to dominate the pace of the contest. Kuznetsova, if she gets in the inside, tends to be very strong with that Sienagi, but needs to get that lapel grip first. And the danger is if she comes in with the Sienagi and she doesn't have much control, she'll find herself in the predicament she is right now, and that is in the Niwaza. That Sangaku Jimmy, which is very, very strong indeed. And as you can see, she's working extremely hard. Now she's got that arm and she's got a lovely little turnover that comes from there. Now she switches it both directions, but as you can see, constantly working extremely hard, knows exactly what she wants in the Niwaza. And as you can see, the Russian is just battling to get out of trouble, but she's wrapped up all in one there. As you can see, she's desperately trying to brace and slips away from the grasp of Chelsea Giles. So she's been thrown another lifeline there. Kuznetsova really has to be careful when she travels into the Niwaza. She's got to make sure in Atachiwaza those throws count. She cannot leave herself vulnerable and open without any control as she goes down into the groundwork. As you can see, Giles trying to draw her down into and she's got the shimmy was, well, she almost had it there. It was connected, just didn't get the grip on the back end of the head there to draw in with the shimmy waza, but that was sharp. Kuznetsova still in the game here though, no score. It's just under half a minute to nil go into golden score this match. But definitely the threat of Niwaza is there with Giles. She's very dangerous down there. Once again, the Russian goes down into the Niwaza. She works this time, playing the edge of the contest area. Possibly a safer bet for her. Kuznetsova has to really rethink of the tactics against Giles. The threat has been in the Niwaza. That's Giles's forte. Any world-class athlete in the under 52 kilos will know that. But there is the attempt of an Osotogari that stumbled Giles down to the ground. But oh, there was a beautiful little move there, and that's got to have scored because it was from the Tachiwaza. And I think they have scored it. They've got a Wazari on the board. I'll have another little look at that because it was very sharp indeed. But she came up. Does she come up from the knee? Well, lovely little turn. She did get that lift. Well, they're saying it was still in the Niwaza. My concern was that she did get the lift. And there you have it. She got the lift, she got the score, and she got the win. Right through to the next round, the semi-final of the under 52 kilos. And she'll be up against the winner of the next match that's coming up very shortly.
Representing Russia, Kuznetsova in the repechage. Next quarterfinal for women under 52 kilograms, Tatami 1. In white judo representing Israel, this year world bronze medalist, Geffen Primo. In blue judo for Morocco, the African champion, Soumia Iraoui.
So now we have Primo, and this is again another athlete that we have seen on the world tour that for me is definitely world class and is getting stronger and stronger as a major contender here in the under 52 kilos. She's up against Iraku of Morocco. Primo defeated the Japanese, the new one that we've seen on the scene there, Nakauchi, in the first round. Niraku defeated De Victor of France in her first match. So 2 Shidos to 1 at this particular moment. Primo in a better position. And when I say better position, it's like 2 Shidos, 1 more would result in a disqualification for the Moroccan. you've just joined us, welcome to Abu Dhabi for the Grand Slam here, 2021, and I'm Loretta Cusack-Doyle, and delighted that you can join us. We've had some already within the hour, we've had some amazing matches. Although the numbers are low here in this competition, there is some real depth and some quality athletes here performing, and none less than this weight category. Chigari there from Primo, beautifully executed, now follows through into the Niwaza. Scores a Wazari, now that puts her in a very comfortable lead, and now the pressure is on. As you can see there, just lost a little bit of control with the upper body, that left hand. He pulled in just that little bit more, would have actually pulled the shoulder square, and she would have possibly got the ippon from that. But still, nevertheless, a very, very strong throw.
Next contest on the Dhabi
Hips in there.
Second round for men under 16
still battling away, but Primo with that left hand that comes high over on the collar is causing one or two problems there. Primo, although looking so elegantly, is very aggressive in her style, got good condition, very strong, but backs up with some beautiful technique. And sadly, the third final Shido was awarded to the Moroccan, who goes out of the disqualification, and Primo goes into the semi-final. Well, Primo will be up against Chelsea Giles. Now, both athletes very, very similar in stature, those long limbs, very similar in the techniques. So that will be a really interesting match to watch, one that will not miss. So now we have the 48 kilo category, and Bouclé we have representing France, and Salens representing Belgium. Bouclé, number 1 seed coming in here, European champion in the under 48 kilos. 12 athletes participating in this weight category. And yeah, you would say very low numbers, and definitely are, but we are obviously coming to the end of just the back end of this year, and it's been a very challenging year for these athletes, and for the past couple of years with COVID and the restrictions and the things that the athletes have had to contend with in preparation for major events has been overwhelming and very challenging indeed. Most probably one of the most difficult things that these athletes have had to face over the past 24 months, and rightly so. In the Olympic Games this year in Tokyo, which was delayed by 1 year, has meant that these athletes have had to really push themselves beyond their preparation phase of 12 months. And so it's nice to see some of those Olympic medalists here today and throughout the next couple of days performing based on what challenges they've had already to face. And but some have opted to rest up and set most probably their goals for next year, when we have a countdown of 3 years to Paris 2024. Salens from Belgium has picked up a Shido here. Bouclé, strong competitor, but she's got that right hand over at the back, but inside it's been blocked by the left side of Salens, just trying to keep her opponent at bay, but not enough as she comes through past the strong defences to score upon and go through to the next round. Well, here the defences were in by Salens, but then the change of grip round the waist with the hip throw and using her feet to stumble her opponent at the latter stage of the technique, as you can see, works through in very, very deep, but the winning ingredient was that right hand around the back that literally pulled her onto her opponent onto her back. So nice little change of direction to score upon. So Buckley goes in to the semi-final, and who she will be up against. Again, we've got two very strong athletes now gracing our tatami, and that's Costa, an extremely experienced athlete from Portugal, and we've known the Portuguese have been doing so well in the World Tour over the past couple of years, and they're up against Dolgova Irina from Russia.
Yeah, this is Kuznetsova's teammate. We were talking about Kuznetsova's prowess on the ground. Well, Dolgova is right up there with her, and what a battle that was with Chelsea Giles, a pair of them.
It was, wasn't it? And I'm really looking forward to the semi-final between Bouchard. Well, if they get those into the final, Bouchard and...
We've still got the semi-finals.
Yes, yeah. They're so on form, though, in that weight category. They just seem unstoppable. Dolgova there with the left hand in the inside of that lapel. Although strong controlling, it is also a good block against Costa, who's trying to get past that defence. Has to take second best on the gripping style at this particular moment, but edges her opponent to the corner of the contest area, trying to put maybe a pressure on the Russian, who's backed up there and finds herself limited of spaces of where she can maneuver. Costa comes through, tries to drop under her opponent, didn't have the area, the movement space that she required for that to be effective.
Funny how this morning we were chatting about, slightly lower numbers, slightly reduced quality, and then we look at the lineup, the semi-final lineup for the 52 kilo category. Amandine Bouchard of France to go up against Bishrelt Korladoy of Mongolia. That is the first of the semi-finals. The second of the semi-finals features Chelsea Giles to go up against Geffen Primo. That is going to be challenging because they're very, very similar in stature. They're tall, long-limbed, and very, very strong. Chelsea most probably has the sort of edge in her niwaza. That's all I would say, but it'll be an exciting one to watch. Well, for me, excitement of the morning was Giles and Kuznetsova because of their desire, their will, and their readiness to engage in niwaza. That really gave an edge to it, because we know, and we said earlier, Kuznetsova is not the sharpest tool in the box in tachiwaza, but you can't mess around on the ground.
Oh no.
And they went into golden score, where it ended up with Kuznetsova trying to fend off a still standing Chelsea Giles. Kuznetsova may have felt that she was in niwaza. The coach, the Russian coach, Zirazudin Magomedov, certainly thought that was the case. It was not. The rule is fairly straightforward. Both knees and both elbows have to be on the ground for a fighter to be considered in niwaza. Kuznetsova was not. That allowed Giles to continue in tachiwaza, and she then threw her. It wasn't the biggest of throws, but it was enough to come up with a wazari.
And in fact, when Giles actually came in for the attack, both knees came off the out of niwaza, so she was no longer at all in any stage with any limb.
She'd never entered
in the niwaza.
She'd never entered into niwaza, and that was a lovely koji go from Dolgova, by the way. Beautiful little movement, and she makes it look so effortless. Just a little tap, and over the opponent goes. Just under a minute left to go. It's the Russian who leads here. Costa got a bit of work to do now to try and pull this back.
She's on a chase now. She really has to try and come back, and that's going to be very tricky indeed. She's never looked like she was in control from the beginning of this contest, but you can never write her off. She's a strong athlete. She's got a very strong will, and she'll keep battling right to the end.
The problem for Costa, for Katerina Costa now, is that any opportunity to engage in Newaza for Dolgova is going to be jumped on in order to just eat up the rest of that clock. Now, half a minute.
Yeah, and you don't blame
left
her.
to go. No,
I'd be doing that myself.
on the ground non-stop.
Sianagi attempt there, but trying to wind it through to still get some leverage on it. Ties herself up really, so she cannot escape what we've just said, the tactics of staying in Newaza. She was too tightly in there to be able to get back up on her feet to try and have another shot in the tachiwaza.
I was going to say he's going to call mate. Now, any change in direction from the initial technique, it's not change in direction, sorry, any change in technique once they're outside of the competition area is going to be called mate. Once you leave the competition area, you have to continue with that effort. So if it's a Sangaku effort and you want to go to the left and you go to the right, that's okay, because you've continued with the same technique. But if outside of the area you want to move from your Sangaku effort to a Hyoko Shiagatami effort, they're going to call mate. So, well worked there by Irina Dolgova.
She'll be up against Buklin in that semi-final a little bit later on.
Dolgova goes to the semi-final. Costa of Portugal in the repechage.
Costa goes to the repechage.
Next quarter-final contest.
Shireen Buklin, as Loretta Kusador was just saying, will face, that she's the number 1 seed. Shireen Buklin will face Irina Dolgova. And we've still got the lower half of the draw to be sorted out. We're getting on with that now because we've got Melanie Legout-Clement of France to go up against Sabina Giliazova of Russia. It's Legout-Clement in the white judogi, Giliazova in blue. We'll give you the rundown of the other weight categories, the lineup for those as we move on. Thelma Montero is down on mat number 3 in her quarter-final match against Faiza Mokhtar of France. She leads there by Wazawi. I'm just going to check and see what's happening with 57. There's still a way to go there. The quarter-finals haven't started. Oh yes, they have. Well, in the lower half of the draw they have, and Aselia Toprak will be up against Vera Zamanova in the last of the quarter-finals once they get finished with Montero and Mokhtar. We haven't started with the top half of the draw as yet. Shido picked up by Melanie Legout-Clement. A little over 2.5 minutes left to go. I suppose the one thing that we might say is that you just get to the business end of the day quicker. You know, if you've only got 15 or 16 in the weight category, then after round 1 you're in the quarter-final.
That's it.
Whereas sometimes, especially in, you know, say the under 73 or the under 81 kilo category, you can find yourself with 3 rounds. First round, second round, round 3, and then the quarterfinal and semi-final and the final. So it's a long day, long old day if you're going to have 6 fights, isn't it?
Definitely.
What's the most that you ever remember having? Because, and the reason I ask Loretta Kusatdor this question is because I know that
I'm that old that it's changed
under the
so
old
much.
system, yeah. But the old system. We're not going to say Loretta's old. We could say the system under which he fought was old-fashioned, and sometimes, especially in those national trials systems, you had to fight in pools, and then be number 1 or 2 in your pool to go into your next pool, where you also had to be number 1 or 2, and then to go into the last or final pool. So you could end up with 8, 9 or 10.
I think I could have easily had around about 10 plus.
Yeah.
10, 12 contests starting at 9 o'clock in the morning and still at midnight at Crystal Palace waiting for that final.
I'm lucky to say that I never got involved in that type of
very, very challenging.
Not that kind of level. However, I can assure you that I was there at 9 o'clock in the morning and still watching at midnight and wondering how I was going to get home from Crystal Palace.
Yeah, that was always the challenges. How do you get home after that? But no, long days, no doubt about it. But obviously, even on a world tour, they used to have the system that the repechage was from the first. It was whoever got to the final. Then the repechage was all the losers of that finalist. So they went right back to the beginning.
That could have been another competition
on its own.
On its own,
Definitely.
It certainly appeared that way. I was going to say it felt that way. Well, I didn't feel anything, but it appeared that way from a spectator's point of view, that it started all over again, because you really did go back to what would have been round 2. Whoever lost in round 1 hung around to see whether their fighter would get to the final, and then when they did, well, it started all again, everyone that they beat.
And this is where it's like it is fair, because you've got the world, you've got the world ranking list, which will get those athletes up in the world, give them a great advantage. But really, when you think about it, you could be a very strong opponent and in the number and draw the number 1 in the world. And it seems so unfair, isn't it? Where if you look back at an old system, where if you lost against the finalist, you got a chance to prove yourself. Even though you might have had the worst draw in the world to start with, you got an opportunity to come back to prove yourself of getting into that bronze medal.
And that's why I was saying that it's so important to avoid going out the first round.
That's it.
Here, you get yourself the opportunity to get some points, so later on you get into the top 8. We didn't have that before.
No, that's it. It's
in that old system.
No, we didn't.
We just had a draw.
We had a draw, and it could be
anyone. 1 versus 2.
That's it.
Yeah, she's gone against the arm there. There's another one.
Well, the thing is that at the time when I won the World Championships, I actually drew, even though I was a bronze medalist, but in another weight category, I drew the number 1 seed, which was the world champion first match. And so that's the tricky thing that you had in those days.
And that was impossible. I began in the opening contest by talking about going against the arm.
The arm, definitely.
In the contest with Kelly Deguchi and Caitlin Jarrell, and
I honestly didn't feel that there was. I think there was a bit more play acting on that one, but I think there was a less defence.
Yeah, well, I didn't see the replay.
Yeah.
The commission did,
yeah.
And I would bet absolute money that it didn't go against the arm, because they didn't give the Hansokumake. And if they felt that there was danger and it was going against the arm, they would immediately have given Hansokumake. So they must have looked at that and thought, no, that is not against the arm. There's been so much talk recently about safety of the players.
Yeah, and these moves are not intentionally out to hurt people, but they're just such poor technique, that if it is even a poor technique, even though it's not intentional, it should not be allowed for the safety of an athlete. And as you can see, that she could have let her hand go, but she didn't. There was no restriction as such on that.
Thanks very much for that. That effort there, for me, is perfectly valid. I've got no problem with that effort. She continues to hold on to the arm.
Her own doing there.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Good decision. And thanks very much for that replay. I tell you what, whoever's doing the replay today is on the ball. Absolutely up with it.
It was very clear to see that, because a lot of people, if they hadn't seen it, would have felt that that was definitely an illegal move.
In blue for Italy, Assunta Scuto. Winner of the Tatami 2, in blue for Great Britain, Samuel Hall.
Right, on the mat now,
Hall goes to the semi-final.
Shira Rishoni of Israel is up against Assunta Scuto of Italy.
Next
It's Rishoni in the white judogi, Scuto
category, the Tatami 2.
in blue.
In white judogi for Israel, Tina Nelson Levy. In blue judogi for Mongolia, Khakbatongo Enkhribe.
Gilyazova will face the winner of this contest, by the way.
Well, Rishoni is what I've always called a little pocket rocket.
Yeah,
she is
agreed.
such a little dynamo. Work effort, she gives 100% all the time. But here we've got the Italian, and as we know, the Italians have got some grit about them. Real aggressive stuff. Oh, look at that. That's amazing. Marotti Cianaghi there. Very, very low and fast entry. Pulls down on the back and then spins right underneath. Lovely little turnover there. Just from a change of gripping tactics.
Yeah, and there's just enough of the scoring part of the body to make contact with the mat.
It was lovely. It was a lovely move there. Action, reaction. The action was she pulled down. The reaction as her opponent came up after feeling the pressure on the back of the neck no longer being there. But as she came up, created that space for that beautiful Marotti Cianaghi entry. Nice tactics there. Rishoni with a Shido on the board.
Yeah, I think she is positive enough not to have to worry. There's the Maki Komi, wrap the arm up. You could see that developing, couldn't you? Wasn't it?
You could work it. If she'd only just got a little bit above the elbow, she would have had a bit more rotation off that. So just the sort of placing, he only had the elbow down to the wrist and no more, which just didn't give her enough leverage. As you can see, it slipped below the elbow, which meant that the head blocked and stopped the flow. But again, a nice attack from Rishoni.
Funny, when I first saw it, I thought that she had even less of the arm, but on the replay, she wasn't that
She
far
was
off
in
the
between,
target.
halfway between elbow and wrist, which isn't a bad technique. It isn't a bad. Normally, sometimes like that would actually score, but because it was, she entered so low, she didn't give herself enough space.
And as Loretta quite rightly pointed out, the further the technique went, the lower that arm seemed to slip. So by the end of the technique, by the time she was really looking to drive and complete the technique, she didn't have enough of the contact with the elbow to really turn her opponent. And that's what really did it in the end. That's where she lost it.
Well, the Italian is still leading with that Wazzari, and we're into the last minute now, and she's put a couple of good strong attacks in there. She's defending well, she's got good kumikata there, she's controlling with that left hand on the lapel, blocking out her opponent just enough to not look so negative.
Could almost have been called for a false attack there.
Yes.
Rishoni, sheer thinking about that little sit down, maybe Yoko Sutemi was it, but the thought and the putting it into action didn't happen, did it?
Well, Rishoni has got some work to do. She's in the last 30 seconds. She comes in, a desperate attack there with the Osotogari. She didn't attack, she nearly got herself caught with the counter there. Really didn't enter correctly on that. Now she finds herself in the Niwaza with 9 seconds to go. The frustration, as you can see from Rishoni, it's really just, she's lost control, she's lost her thought process with this, purely through frustration.
Scuto looking for the way out here. She's already backpedaling.
Yeah, definitely, and rightly so. She can afford to run away on that one, and that's a good win for the Italian, there's no doubt about it.
I might have called the mate and not false attack, but definitely avoiding when Scuto put a hand down on the tatami.
Yes.
You know, for me, that was just that little bit too much. You know, overly defensive is one thing, but you're so low that your hand can touch the tatami. I thought that was pushing it a bit.
I think the amount of Scuto, though, she had done so much work, and at that latter stage of the contest,
it wasn't going to matter anyway. Really,
there's a certain thing that a referee will give the benefit of the doubt the first time before really hammering someone on an attempt like that, especially if it's the first time we've seen it. And so the timing of that was okay.
Well, we've, I suppose, in a way, almost come full cycle here, because we started the day with Caitlin Jarrell. Here she is again. She's up against Aleksandra Kaleta of Poland. It's Jarrell in the white judogi, Kaleta in blue. There are other contests that take precedence, actually, because there are quarterfinals going on. This is a repechage contest, and we've got another repechage contest coming up after this. So if you want to watch this one, then click on 1. We're going to go to mat number 3. Down on mat number 3, Aselia Toprak of Great Britain is up against Vera Zemanova. We're joining the contest already in golden score with 2 minutes and 10 seconds having already gone. There is another quarterfinal coming up after this in the under 66 kilo category. Denis Vieru of Moldova will face Radu is Veronu coming up next. We're going to stay here on mat number 3.
Well, Toprak for me is such a strong athlete, and this year has just gone strength for strength, has always showed potential and not really been given the opportunities or the exposure that would give her this sort of platform to show what she's capable of doing. But we're here at seeing this young lady from Great Britain in the quarterfinal stage. But she's up against a phenomenal athlete who will really challenge her she'll have to really pull everything out here to get herself through into the semi-final. So it's a Shiro apiece now. Zemanova of the Czech Republic, very strong. A good change of direction there, though, from Toprak. Beautiful execution there in the Niwaza.
Needs to work on the arm.
So Sasai now working, was a little slow. I thought she would have given it a little bit more punishment down in the Niwaza, but felt playing it safe would most probably be the better option. We're in the golden score, 3 minutes and 15 seconds. So it's been a grueling match. But the one thing with Toprak, she digs in deep. Very, very strong athlete, big heart. Zamanov coming over with those long limbs. The Ochigari, well, there was an opportunity there for the Czech Republic to come back. Great opportunity. Toprak reacted well. Zamanova looking slightly tired out there as she taking that little bit longer to fix up her gi, get that judo belt over her gi. As you can always tell how the condition is that both of them, it's taken that little bit longer to the frustration, and you can see Toprak just wanting to get at her. She knows she still needs a score. And she piles the pressure on, head-to-head crunching here, both looking for sleeve grips. It's really down who wants it more now. They've battled away here for almost double the amount of time they were on in the opening round of 4 minutes, and still no throw, no score. So overall 8 minutes. Now, condition will play a major part in whoever wins this match. This is where mistakes are made. Under extreme tiredness, fatigue will really set in for both these athletes, and I think the one that's suffering more, Zamanova, but there you have Toprak that's picked up her second Shido. So one more Shido and that would be disqualification for this young lady from Great Britain. So she needs to have her wits about her, she needs to stay focused. She cannot afford to make any mistakes. Zamanova defending but not attacking, but there's an attack. Can she get a spin on it? She blocks it and no more. So there was an opportunity there for Toprak. Zamanova will try tactically to win this match. She knows if she can defend and both look negative, it will be a Shido apiece, which means that Toprak would go out on a hand sokomaki because it's 2-1 at this moment. So Toprak really has to pile the pressure on. She has to be the one that looks busy and puts the techniques in. And Zamanova really has to be careful on those tactics. She's very close to seeing herself pick up another Shido for her defensive actions. And now we have the belt completely coming off. As you can tell, she is really struggling out there. 9 minutes, and you can see Toprak really just wanting to get at her. She's got a big heart, great determination, and she doesn't want this pause. She just wants to make sure that she keeps that pressure on. She throws the arm over the top. She's looking for that sleeve. She piles the pressure. She uses her feet. The leg comes over the top, and a bit of a turn there from Zamanova. And Zamanova puts that attack in, so keeps the pressure off slightly for the previous defensive actions. Also, Toprak really struggling there with her hair. Got it all tied up in knots, and she didn't want that pause in this contest. Yes, well, you have it. It was down to a mistake, as I said, and you had... Here you have the mistake. She came in, she didn't come in at the right time. She hooked through, but you could see that arm round the head. It wasn't controlling enough around Toprak's head. Toprak waited, she countered, and she finished. taking the win and a place in the semi-final. Zelmanov will be totally frustrated with that.
Yeah, she looked completely off balance as well, didn't she?
Little bit, well, this is where nine and a half minutes, this is where you're going to see the mistakes happen. And when it came down to condition, I think that Toprak just had the edge on that.
Both judoka on tatami 3 representing the Republic of Moldova. In white, Giles. In blue, Radu Izvorianu. Winner of the repechage contest on tatami 1 in blue. For Morocco, Sumia Irawi.
Right, who have we got coming up next? Oh, we've already introduced Denis Vieru.
Vieru with...
And Radu Izvoronu of Moldova. Got to go up against his teammate.
This is going to be a difficult one, isn't it? Vieru, lovely Sienagi there. From a great skip to the side, different direction than you would normally see a Sienagi. Normally they come onto you from either a step forward or step back. This one was a cleverly skipped to the side.
Semi-final for women under 52 kilogram category. In white, judoka for France, Tokyo Olympic Games silver medalist Amandine Bouchard. In blue for Mongolia, the bronze and Grand Prix medalist Vishnu Horvodoy.
Well, although this is a quarter-final stage and a really important match, we have got the semi-final coming up now in the under 52 kilos. So I think we'll go quickly across to see this match because it is such a crucial, strong match. And it's Bouchard from France, Olympic silver medalist, up against Bichelt of Mongolia in the under 52 kilos. And if you obviously want to continue watching the under 66 quarter-final, then you can just move along, click onto the site, and that one will come up, so you won't miss out at all. But I do apologise for cutting short that contest, but it's so important that we cover the highest match that's on the tatamis, and the semi-final sort of trumps a quarter-final, sadly. So semi-final here, under 52s, Bouchard of France in white, and Bichette of Mongolia in the blue, and she's got a Shido already. Bouchard, as you can see, with the head getting pulled down, but she takes control now of that right sleeve that's caused her a few problems. She's got the right hand on the lapel, so draws across on her opponent's right sleeve. Extreme right-handed movement. Lovely technique there. Again, when she gets the head on for a Yoko. Attempt of a Yoko Sutemi was her attempt there. She's very, very dangerous. We've seen a couple of scores from her only today, but in previous competitions, one of her signature moves. So 1.5 minutes remaining in this contest. Two Shidos to one. Well, it's been a very close fought match between these two athletes. I'm not surprised. Both of them had extremely good performances throughout the day, but very consistent to what we were expecting. The Mongolian, big sacrifice techniques, and her danger is when she comes round the waist, and Bouchard knows that.
Winner of the quarterfinal contest on the Dhabi 3 in white judo for Moldova, Denis Vieru. Vieru goes to the semi-final. Izoriano into repechage.
Bichelt with 2 Shidos to 1. Bouchard now seeking medical attention. Looks like a bit of a nosebleed that she's got going on there. Nothing serious, but it stops the flow of the contest continuing, and the frustration for Bichelt is that she was starting to get into the rhythm here and pile a little bit of pressure on Bouchard, and now has to stay focused and in the zone in the middle of a tatami, while obviously Bouchard has got other things to distract her at this particular moment, and that's that nosebleed to be put under control. Well, 45 seconds remaining, and but no score, and that's one thing we've got to look at, that this could still go into golden score. Both these athletes very strong, both potentially good enough to be in that final, but as we said earlier on, we have 15 athletes in this weight category, but all, it's like having the cream of the batch. But there you have it. Well, she wasn't going to mess around. It just took that little pause, a time to collect her thoughts, as well as obviously stop the nosebleed, but it was enough time to then focus on what her next plan of action was going to be, and there it is.
World number 1 in this category.
Katagaruma, Yoko Katagaruma there, beautifully done.
Giles of Mongolia will compete for the bronze. Next semi-final for women.
Well, definitely a well-deserved place in the final of the under 52 kilos. And who will she be up against? Well, this is the match that we've been waiting for. This is going to be very interesting indeed. For me, a bit of a clash of styles. I think for Chelsea, Giles, it's the Niwaza is her forte. She's been very sharp in the Niwaza. Primo, both long-limbed athletes, very, very similar in styles, and potentially could be quite dangerous against each other. Chelsea, as you can see, look at it, she's like on the attack straight away in the Niwaza. But Primo, playing her at her own game. But it is really down to, if you give an inch there, Giles will totally capitalize on this. Legs need to just be settled in. She's got the crossed legs, very, very tight. Now gets the roll, takes it over to the opposite side. Is this the mistake that Primo has made? And it is a mistake. She's underestimated the power and the technical expertise that Giles brings to the table when she goes into the Niwaza. Very powerful indeed, but it's going nowhere at this moment. But is that the wake-up call that Primo needed, and the signal to say don't mess around in the Niwaza. Well, I know what I would be doing if I was Primo right now. I would be focusing on the Tachiwaza. And Primo does have some excellent Tachiwaza technique. She's a very strong standing athlete. Pulls down on Giles' head, trying to break up that very strong postured athlete in general. Giles brings the arm round the back, but again she knocks her opponent down into the Niwaza, and straight away on the pounce of the Niwaza, trying to finish her off. Needs to be done in the center of the contest area though. Primo throws that left hand again over the top. Giles will again just work that leading foot, just try and break her opponent's balance up. Stumbler to the Niwaza. But she's also got that twitch that she can come round the back, but first Shido is awarded to Giles. Primo on the chase all the time. Giles backpedaling a little bit, just creating space between her and her opponent. Comes across again, stumbling her opponent to the Niwaza. She knows what she wants, and it's that Niwaza. Giles straight in again. She catches that sleeve and the wrist. 1 minute, 7 seconds remaining. Giles knows all she wants is an opportunity in Niwaza. She's had a couple of chances there. Primo once more with the left hand over the top. Has got a sleeve. She's got the Uchimata that's strong. Technically, in the Tachiwaza, she's good. She comes round the back of Giles, which can be dangerous with those hip throws. Primo head to head, strong left-handed grip. Tries to touch that leading foot to distract Giles, but that's not going to happen. But Giles backs herself off there into the corner, which does limit her, but there is another nice technique there from Giles. Just didn't get enough impact of rotation off it to score. But she gets her opponent down in where she wants her, and that's in the Niwaza with the Sangaku once more. She's timed, but she's looking to get that arm. So we're now into the golden score. But there was a nice, nifty little Kosota using her knee to break the balance of her opponent, stumbling on to her bottom. Just rescued and no more with that hand of Primo's going down to avoid her going onto her back or side. But again, it was a great opportunity for Giles. Kochi, well, very, very close indeed for Primo getting a score there, but once more puts herself in a situation in the Niwaza that is very dangerous. But for me, that technique there, this is the one that looked dangerous for Giles, that Kochi, but then there was the switch of the counter, but she went onto her own back.
Yeah, she wouldn't have been able to have claimed a score there because
she was rescued from the Koichigari.
Well, because she was being attacked, and in any counter attack, you're not able to use the tatami to affect a score.
Yeah,
So,
and she used
and she
hand.
used her own back there. Because Primo had lost control of the technique and was being countered, so she was not going to be given a score for that because she'd lost control. Primo, however, could not be given the score because in avoiding the attack, she used her own back to bring off the counter attack. So no score to either of them. And this was the category that we began with this morning, and in all honesty, it's given us the most action.
Definitely, it has. It's been an exciting weight category, there's no doubt about it.
And even when we mentioned the big names, we just said about, Jarrell and Deguchi, who that was the opening contest. That was just a warm-up.
Definitely, it's just gone better and better. Primo pulling down on the head of Giles. Strong left hand up there. Very dangerous for Giles at this moment. But she does have that counter. But Primo's got a lovely uchimata if she gets an opportunity. But this is the danger for Primo, the niwaza. And just doesn't seem to connect. She's had so many opportunities, Giles has, in a niwaza, but it's just not connected yet. But how much do you have to tempt fate by just keep going on this?
And I'll give you an update on the situation with the Russian fighter, Lesia Kuznetsova, in the under 52 kilo category. Because she had an elbow and shoulder injury. They weren't quite sure which it was, but I'll let you know about that after this contest. Struggling to get the number of Shidos.
I know, I was going to say,
yeah.
I'm sure there was only one on the board. I didn't see that she was in that much danger. But it's definitely not a good position for Giles to be in. 2 Shidos now down in golden score. And she really needs to now start putting a little bit more work in there. She needs to be in the taking control, where, as you can see, Primo once more, left hand, high collar, always seems to have the dominant positioning, but Giles has chanced
a
it.
little bit here. Sorry, Loretta.
Oh no, I'm just sitting at the edge of my seat here. It's one of those movements and engagements that you don't know which way it's going to fall. It could go either way with these athletes. They're so close. It was a contest that I predict was going to be really tough because they're so similar in styles.
The Dhabi 2 winner of the quarterfinal in white, Judo.
Primo really is trying to go for this. She looks so hungry to get into this final. She's got that left hand that comes in first each time she takes control. Chelsea Giles just seems to be reacting rather being the first one out there, and Primo is taking control every time with the first exchange.
The other thing that Chelsea's failed to notice is where the action is taking place.
Yes, she's backpedaling. That left hand over the top on that collar has caused Chelsea Giles a lot of trouble there. Primo knows it. She's been pushing it really hard, and she's allowed Chelsea Giles to just keep going back and pedaling onto the edge of the contest area, which restricts Giles's movements. She can only go. Yeah.
It also brings into play another possible Shido, which is playing with the edge.
Exactly.
You've got two. You can't afford another. That's why Primo's at the edge.
But again, look at the pressure. She goes back. She gets a Shido. She goes forward. She goes onto that uchimata. She really is limiting her spaces.
And then if you get bent over, the Shido comes into it for an overly defensive posture.
She's so close at this moment, Giles.
Always to
picking
the edge.
up. Yeah.
Right to the edge. Primo knows just where to put Giles, to put the pressure
Oh,
on.
Uchigari Uchimata, good combination there for Giles. She needed to do. Now, we've changed it slightly. Giles, straight away for the first time, was first with the grip, first with attack, and a good combination, which has been so different to what we've seen for the past 3 minutes.
Another good battle coming up to 4 minutes of golden score. 52 really has been the go-to category for me
Definitely,
today.
it's been so exciting. It's been untrue. It's really an exciting weight category. Thoroughly enjoyed watching this and following the progress of these athletes coming through. Primo once more, that left side causing Giles a few problems. The Uchimata hovering there, but a switch!
What a turn!
Wonderful switch of direction. She threatened it a couple of times, but she was never in a good position. This time, although she was at the edge of the contest area, she had the room behind her. She wasn't backed onto it. She was forward onto the edge, which was a change of what had happened in the previous. Brilliant, and she will be delighted with that. Definitely a good win for her, but Primo, what a strong athlete, no doubt about it. Well, Giles kept us on the edge of our seats throughout that contest. There's no doubt about it. She made us really work throughout that one.
Tokyo Olympic Games bronze medalist Giles goes to the final.
Well, it'll be a great match between Bouchard of France and Giles of Great Britain. That's definitely one not to miss.
We've got repechage contests up and down the arena, 1, 2 and 3. All repechage contests. The choice is yours, really. Given that we spent a good deal of time down on Map 1, we haven't seen a lot of the under 60 kilo category, and we've got a semi-final coming up immediately after. Let's go to map number 2, because on map number 2 there's a repechage contest in the under 60 kilo category. Dilshot Kalmatov of Ukraine is up against Enktavian Sumye Yabaza of Mongolia. It's Kalmatov in the white judogi, Enktavan in blue. Watch this for a bit. Enktavan, I think it is Enktavan. Mongolia are about to have their Grand Prix put back onto the programme, I think. I hope I'm not jumping the gun by announcing something that they were going to announce either later this afternoon or tomorrow.
Oh, you have just stole the thunder, have you?
Or lost my job, one of the two. So if I'm not here tomorrow, I better check now. I'll go to the Fountain of All Knowledge, the International Judo Federation website. We'll have a look. I think it is announced. It's just the formal sort of presentation tomorrow, or the signing of documents or something. And I'm not suggesting that that isn't important, especially as the chief is going to be there. But yeah, I think that is going to be back on the programme.
They've invested so much time and money in producing such strong athletes from Mongolia. They've been working on that for about 8 years now, haven't it? And it's starting to really show with the results and performances that we're seeing on the World Tour.
Well, it was one of the first tour events, wasn't it? We used to go out to the Genghis Khan Grand Prix, it was called. A wonderful trip if you get on it. Go out there and see a place that very few people really
it's an amazing place
to visit, but nice if we
Winner
get
of
that
the
back
repechage contest on the Tatami 3 in
the
white
programme.
judogi for Ukraine, Oleg Veretiva. Veretiva qualifies for the bronze medal contest in a category for men under 60 kilo.
Well, the Ukraine just pipped him to the post here, though, and that takes Ukraine through.
Next contest on the Dhabi 3.
Into the bronze medal contest.
Yeah, he'll go into the bronze medal contest, yeah.
Right, coming up next, the #1 seed in the under 60 kilo category, Yang Yongwei of Chinese Taipei is up against Samuel Hall of Great Britain. It's Yang in the white judogi, Hall in blue. Massive opportunity here for Sam Hall, but what an opponent he has to face. Needs to get past the #1 seed, Yang Yongwei, if he's going to make progress here.
Well, it's great to see British men in this position, semi-final. It's been a long time that we've seen some of the youth coming through and actually showing real potential. It's been a long struggle for the British men for many years, and we've had Ashley Mackenzie, we've had a few athletes that have been there, but they're now coming closer to the end of their career, and we've seen some youngsters that have just been there and thereabouts but never really made a mark on a world tour. So it's wonderful to see Samuel Hall here today in a semi-final position
against the silver medalist at the Olympic Games not that many months ago. Yang Yongwei had an amazing run up to the Games and then cemented his position as one of the best in the category by taking the silver medal there. Such a bust, if you like, for so many people. 2021, the delay of the games and COVID restrictions and everything, so a really difficult time, and yet Yang managed to pick up, well, at the beginning of 2021, a silver medal at the Masters in Doha, and then medals at the Antalya Grand Slam, bronze medal there, and then he was a silver medalist at the Continental Championships for Asia, Oceania, and then of course his silver medal at the Games, so he had quite a time of it last year. Well, I say last year, this year, this being the last of the contests, this last of the events this year.
Yeah, this will be a great
icing
win
on the cake, won't it?
This would be a great win for Hall, though.
So, yeah, Sam Hall trying to put the mockers on the end of the year.
Yeah, definitely trying to, but he's in trouble at this moment. But Samuel Hall has great results over. He's been coming through very, very strong since his junior European medal.
Wasn't able to effect the turnover there, Yang Yongwei. Good defence from Sam Hall.
Yep, definitely. Junior European champion. Starting to look very confident out there now. There's a real contender. But like we said, he's up against a very strong opponent. Olympic silver medalist, #1 seed in this tournament, and once more finds himself on the receiving end of this Niwaza, but this time I don't think it looks like he's going to get out. It's going to be hard, and although he's got a bit of flexibility, that arm is there loitering behind, and a possibility of an arm lock if it isn't already on.
He's done enough there.
Yep.
Yang Yongwei. He doesn't strike me as, fearsome and explosive or anything.
No, he's
and yet every time you look, he's up there.
Winner of the semi-final contest in white, judogi representing Chinese Taipei,
there he is again, into another final, a Grand Slam final this time.
And world #1 in this category, Yang Yongwei, goes to the final.
What a boy. Maybe better say what a man. 24.
Yep.
Next contest, contest number 2, is repechage for women under 57 kilo in white for Mongolia.
So repechage contest, I think. What's happening down on mat number 1? That's the repechage contest. What's happening down number 3? Right, we're going to go down to mat number 3. The reason for that is the contest between Faiza Mokhtar and Vera Semanova has just finished. Faiza Mokhtar came out on top. We're going to go now to the first of the semi-finals no, is it the first of the semi-finals? It's not the first of the semi-finals. It is the second of the semi-finals. This one between Telma Monteiro of Portugal. She's up against Arcela Toprak of Great Britain. It's Monteiro in the white judogi, Toprak in blue. Let's see if Toprak can continue transformation from a nearly fighter to the successful aggressor, because she's looked completely different today to me. I don't know what it is, but just so much more dangerous and threatening.
She's been definitely on form today. She's
threatening there as well.
She's put herself under pressure at times, leaving it to the golden scores. But what it has really shown is the condition this young athlete is.
She did show that earlier. There was one contest in particular where I thought she won it just because she was much better conditioned.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Quite right, Loretta. Well, yeah, well spotted.
But she's up against a really extremely experienced athlete, Monteiro.
No one more experienced on the circuit.
No.
Sutemi
was there. Oh, that was nice.
Just avoided it. Didn't avoid giving up the arm, though.
No.
Got to work hard to get out of here.
This is dangerous.
No,
yes, that's it.
Went the wrong way.
Well, she ran onto that, didn't she? And she knows it. She's put her hand up on her forehead as if to say, what on earth have I just done? But
it's a thin line between being aggressive, and then just opening up yourself too much.
As you could see, she ran onto her, and she felt that by going low under the arm would be safe enough, but not when you've got an opponent that's got good Sutemi wazas. And that Sumigeish there, as you could see, was enough to get her over, but also put her in a dangerous position to follow through into the Niwaza.
Repechage for men under 16 kilo. In white, judogi for Moldova, Radu Izvoriano.
Repechage contests on all mats again, and then we've got one more on 3 to come. It's in the under 66 kilo category. Radu Izvoranu of Moldova is up against Petr Zhukov of Romania. Izvoranu in the white judogi, Zhukov in blue. This repechage contest is not going to detain us, I'm afraid, because there's a semi-final taking place up or about to start on mat number 1. So we're going to go up to have a look at Shireen Boukli of France. She's going to go up against Irina Dolgova of Russia. It'll be Boukli in the white judogi, Dolgova in blue, and I promised that I would give you some information about Alessia Kuznetsova in the under 52 kilo category from Russia. She's been taken to hospital for a scan on a suspected dislocated elbow. So we'll see if we can get you some more information on that, and as soon as we know, then we'll get back to you. Dolgova is the one who's going to get penalised here, wandered out of the area. sitting not that far away from us, quite high up in the stands at the far end of the competition hall, is Shireen Boucley's teammate, Amandine Bouchard. Casual as you like, just leg crossed, relaxed, just checking her inbox, maybe Twitter account, I don't know, Facebook page, I don't know. I don't have those things, so. No score.
All I can say is you've got good eyesight, because I wouldn't have recognised her from that distance.
Yeah. I had a chat with her earlier on. I said, don't be too hard on the youngsters, will you?
Be nice.
She's found herself in the final, having put out quite a few of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so no score yet between Boucley and Dolgova. Dolgova has picked up a single Shido. We've got a little over 2.5 minutes left to go. Loretta.
Yeah, well, this was always going to be a really difficult match. Both have fought extremely well to get to this semi-final position and defeated some very strong opponents along the way. And it'll be a bit of a clash of styles here. Very much both trying desperately to get the ideal Kata, but there was an opportunity there that Boucley took full advantage of, was from Dolgova, that came in half-hearted on an attack with very little control of her opponent, and that has cost her dearly as far as a Wazari on the board now that she'll have to chase for the next 2 minutes if she gets out of Niwaza. Dolgova, there as you can see, she came in so soft in that attack, left herself onto her heels, and it was just pure upper body control that Boucley would manage to score a Wazari against her opponent. Dolgova looking for the Niwaz, Boucley there trying to control the upper body, punishing her down in the Niwaza. She's going for that shimmy waza, but I'm not quite sure whether it's under the chin or it's been held off by her opponent, having both hands holding on tightly to the lapel. But Boucley's not going to let her off lightly. She's straight into the attack as soon as they approach into the tachiwaza once more, and now working her way onto the edge of the contest area. Dolgova under pressure now.
Well, Boucley doing enough there against Dolgova to take the semi-final. Dolgova is going to have to battle it out for the bronze medal in the final block, but it's Boucley who finds a way in the final. The French having a nice time with it.
Yeah, 48s and 52s both in the finals now of the Abu Dhabi Grand Slam. So they've started a really good first day, but it'll only be perfect if they take the gold.
Ladies and gentlemen, now last semi-final on the Dhabi 1, women under 48 kilogram category. In white,
well, we've got another semi-final about to take place down on mat number 3. I think we're going to go down there. No disrespect to Gileazova and Scooter, but we've already seen one 48 kilo category semi-final and one win. So let's go down to mat number 3, where we haven't seen a semi-final. This is Denis Vieru of Moldova. He's up against Walid Kaya of France. It's Vieru in the white judo gi and Kaya in the blue. And the commentary on this one here is a bursting at the, chomping at the bit, Loretta Kusak-Doll. Off you go. Take it away.
Thanks very much. Well, as you know, I always get excited when Vieru comes on. I think he's always such a classic on the tatami, such flair that he brings to the table, and it definitely hasn't let us down. But Kaya is a strong opponent, has a very aggressive approach to his contest, so this sort of gentle sort of flair of elegance against Vieru, and you've got Kaya, who's got a very aggressive approach. It's going to be a massive clash.
The junior champion goes to the final in the category for women under 48 kilo.
Just when you, or not you, but when I decide to change mats, I thought, she's only a junior, isn't she? You know, Asunta Scooter. Okay, junior world champion, but let me go down and have a look at Denis Vieru against Walid Kaya. She then proceeds to smash her opponent.
Scooter.
Yeah, really did for Sabina Gileazova through the Russian.
The Italians you could never underestimate. They are so strong.
I'm afraid I did.
Shame on you, that's all I can say. But this is going to be interesting, there's no doubt about it, and it's one that a semi-final we wouldn't want to miss. And like you said before, we have been covering the 48s and 52s quite a lot, and rightly so, because there's been some wonderful performances. There's no doubt about it. They've been great to follow. But,
well, we did see Yang Yung Wei. He's in the final. He was the number 1 seed. We saw, or we are watching Denis Vieru in the under 66 kilo category. We haven't seen Yondan Perenli Bashkun.
I watched one of his matches.
Oh, right, okay.
Yes.
He's on the adjoining mat at the moment.
He was up against Salamat, and again, very convincing win.
Sorry, he was. He's finished.
Yes, he's finished now.
He's lost out.
Oh gosh.
That was in the repechage
contest. He just lost against the Russian. So Vieru now working extremely hard here, but doesn't all he has to do is keep his opponent from him, but it is going to pile up.
Thank you very much for that. Just had a update on Yondan Perenli. I hadn't seen him, but he interesting, because our sheet here shows that Ismail Misrov, who's in the semi-final, beat him in a quarter-final.
If it's the
So it was the repechage contest
yes.
that he won.
Yeah, that's the little one we missed out on.
And he had during the warm-up, he had a traditional long Mongolian coat on. He was running around the warm-up area with this traditional Mongolian coat.
Gosh.
And people were taking photographs of him. He looked that eye-catching, I suppose is the best way of putting it. Anyway, we'll see him again in the bronze medal
Well, it's interesting to see what's going to happen here. Kaya has really come back strong. Like I said, he's got a very aggressive approach, and although Veru at one stage looked like he'd actually tactically sewn this one all up, but it wasn't to be. Kaya made another mistake there with a gripping infringement, which now gives him a hand sokimaki with the accumulation of 3 shidos, which sadly is a shame to see him go out that way, because he was coming back so strong against Veru. As you can see, a couple of replays that we're watching right now, it's so aggressive, that high collar grip, drawing down on Veru, but it was a couple of the mistakes that you have to be careful of, and he threw that one away, I think.
Well, the only judo that we've got left for you now is the last of the semi-finals in the under 66 kilo category. Ismail Misirov of Russia is up against Bogdan Yadov of Ukraine. It's Misirov in the white judogi, Yadov in blue. We join the contest with a little under 2 minutes left to go. Yadov has just picked up a single shido. And there's no score.
So Iradov there with a shido on the board. 1 minute and 30 seconds remaining in this contest. Definitely a battle that's been going on for a good 2.5 minutes now. Deep grip over the back from the Ukraine. Those long limbs causing the Russian a few... Oh, but here's a lift. Well, Nazarov looked like he was really going to come right through there with that ippon, but it wasn't to be. He got the lift, he engaged really tight there, but it looked dangerous. And the Ukraine obviously has to be very, very careful there as he throws that arm over the top. Nice Sianagi. Follows down, looking for an opportunity in the Niwaza, tries to create space there. Russians are normally very strong in reacting in the Niwaza. This time took a little bit too much time.
Half a minute left to go, just that single shido on the board. Misirov is looked dangerous at times.
Yes, when he gets in close, the big uranagi's, big sacrifice techniques makes him so dangerous, but he does need to be close. And well, there he is. Oh, and there you have it. Oh gosh, just sitting on the edge of my chair there, I was trying to help him over with that one, because that was once more so close. But it's those little sort of testers that he's putting out there.
Really threatening.
Definitely threatening.
Yadov is not afraid to get close. I'm surprised, given the number of occasions he's been up and down.
So surprised. I would be backing out the back door on that one, because we've seen it twice now, and it is definitely a big message to say, I'm coming for you.
He still fancies his chances,
and he still really feels
Yadov.
that he's doing the right thing. He comes over the top, and that's the danger, that left hand coming over the top of the Russian just gives him the leverage, and then once more really sacrifices his whole body underneath the Ukraine. But the Ukraine just doesn't seem fazed by it at all. He's got a mission, he's got a plan, action plan, and for him, he's sticking with it, regardless what this Russian is up to. Again, Ouchigari, no, that was nice. Instead of getting the big lift, he went straight down with the Ouchigari. Again, nicely finished, but a change of direction, change of tactics that pulled him through to get into that final of the under 66 kilo category.
I was going to say, that was
Oh, if they're not
an early call, but it happens to be a correct one.
well, I would have thought so.
But I was just about to say they haven't given a score yet.
Oh, right.
Loretta Cusack-Doyle obviously has got a badge that I haven't got.
A psychic power.
Yeah, but you're right.
Psychic
I
power.
mean, on reflection, it was having seen the one replay.
Well, I
it
would have
was
been
enough.
absolutely gobsmacked if they
But
hadn't given
like,
that.
I do
would
like
have-
them to give a score first.
Look at
So he does get his elbow down, but maybe on that side it's not quite out.
yeah.
So
Well-
we'll go with your superior knowledge of refereeing calls.
I know the referee will be
It was a good
pulling
one.
me up, but at least it was the right call, wasn't it?
It was indeed. It worked this time. I'd caution against it in future, however. So we've had 5 categories for the morning: the under 60, under 66 for men, the under 48, 52 and 57 for women, and we're going to try and do as much of a wrap up as we can, and given that we've just finished off with the under 66 kilo category, we're going to go completely backward here and talk about your player of the morning from the under 66 kilo category. I'm sure that's not going to take us that long, is it?
No, Veru definitely.
He is the man. He looks
He's
the
on
business, doesn't he?
fire, isn't he? Definitely on fire. I can't see anyone beating him. I really can't. Even though we've just seen an amazing semi-final in the top half of this draw, I still think Veru will be the man on the top spot of that podium in the under 66 kilos.
He may just have the right kind of style to give Denis Vieru a challenge. Misirov, the Russian, he's not a bad boy, is he? He likes that close-in fighting.
He definitely is dangerous. There's no doubt about it. And when he can change. But it does take he goes in with a mission. He knows he's got a game plan, but it does take him some time to change that game plan if it's not working. Where with Veru, he's more adaptable. He changes, and he's got more sense of a feel. He's got much more composure. For me, he's just a class act. I'd be surprised if he doesn't win. I really will.
No good asking Loretta Cusack-Doyle where her money is. I think that's clear. It's not on Ismail Misirov of
I most
Russia.
probably have to eat my words later.
And his opponent is Denis Vieru, so we shall look forward to seeing that final. Under 60 kilo category, we got to see the Olympic silver medalist and the number 1 seed here, Yang Yung-wei of Chinese Taipei. I always feel as though I'm a poet when I've introduced him, but of Chinese Taipei.
It's got it has got a nice ring
Yeah.
to it, hasn't it? A lovely flow on the tongue.
Have we determined who his opponent
Well,
is?
this is where I've been jumping from one mat to another, so no.
Sorry about that.
But based on we've been following Yang Yung-wei
he's
all throughout the day, and he's actually looking very, very comfortable out there. He's had some he had a challenge there with Samuel Hall, I felt, in the semi-final. I must admit he did give him a good run for his money to start with, and then obviously made the ultimate mistake.
I think it's Ramazan Abdullayev of Russia, and the only reason I say that is that I've just seen Cedric Revel's name in the bronze medal contest against Dilshot Kalmatov.
So you're cheating.
So it's kind of it's a reasonable guess.
So definitely.
I think.
But I think again, if I was to put my money on there, I would go with Yang Yung-wei.
Although if things go pear-shaped, we could end up with both gold medals going to Russia in the under 66 and the under 60.
Yeah, there's a possibility. Yeah, the French and the Russians are doing extremely well today. There's no doubt about it. They've been performing great.
So let's go to the under 48 kilo category.
Yes.
The final is Shireen Buckley of France up against Assunta Scuto of Italy. What a matchup that's going to be.
Scuto, I think she's gonna go out. She's got everything to gain, nothing to lose. And Buckley has, against Dogova, she was really, really strong. And that, again, it took a lot out of her. I think this young Italian could really sort of surprise us all. She did in the semi-final.
Yep.
So who knows? I'm going to go with the Italian. I really am. I just know they're gutsy fighters, and they've got good condition, very, very strong. Technically, they're sound. So with all that heart, all that determination, nothing to lose, could be a massive surprise.
She looked particularly good today. Under 52 kilo category, and I'm not going to shy away from this. I thought that this was the pick of the weight categories today,
definitely.
Given the numbers, the quality, and the speed with which the matchups came, and then the content, the actual contest content, I thought was really, really good. We had a very, very good competition. We've still got 3 contests to come: the 2 bronze medal contests and the final. So we can hold out a real hope for some more quality, including the final, which is Amandine Bouchard, the silver medal winner from the Olympic Games from France, and Chelsea Giles, the bronze medal winner from the Olympic Games from Great Britain.
Yeah.
Where's your money on this time?
Well, I'm definitely going to go with Giles. I wouldn't be able to get back over off the plane, would I, if I had to say to anyone else? But no, for me, this is going to be a really, really interesting match. There's no doubt about it. You've got Bouchard that's strong tachiwaza, and you've got Giles that is phenomenal in niwaza. She is amazing. She is so strong, she is so dangerous, and she's been looking, although that she has had to work hard in the tachiwaza, when it come down to the niwaza, she always looked a major threat for any opponent, and it always paid off really well. So it'll be worth. It's one we definitely won't be missing, and it's a hard one to call. But I definitely feel that if she gets an opportunity, if Giles gets an opportunity in the niwaza, I think that's where she will take this match.
You mentioned about the niwaza, and I've been banging on about that today, including in one of her contests against Alessia Kuznetsova of Russia, who herself has got some degree of prowess in that area, and that was a terrific battle for me. I really enjoyed watching that, and Giles came out on top.
Both athletes have been very consistent throughout. There have been some moments where their opponents have given them a good run for their money, has made them work, has made them draw out these contests, and but what's brought them through is that they are number 1 and number 2 seed. They're both Olympic medalists, and they are class acts. Yeah, so again, this is going to be a nice finish to what on paper has been a great weight category throughout the day. It's been very interesting, it's been very entertaining, and for me it's most probably the weight category of the day, and it'll most probably be the final of the day.
Right, we spoke about the seeding having worked out. Did the seeding work out in the under 57 kilo category? Because if it did, we should be seeing a final between Timna Nelson-Levy of Israel and Telma Monteiro of Portugal. Is that who we've got?
What do you think? It was a weight category we didn't actually get to see much of.
We did
and
see,
with the turnaround.
We saw Telma Monteiro overcome Top Rack. So we know
Monteiro, again,
Montero's
that experience.
in the final.
And
that
was the top part.
Timna Nelson-Levy? You might have to look that up on the laptop.
Yeah.
In any case, you check that one at home. Sorry, we missed out on that one. We're going to be back at 5 o'clock with all the medal matches on the opening day of competition here at the Abu Dhabi Grand Slam. But from Loretta Cusack-Doyle and myself, it's bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.